Welcome in, everyone, to episode 7 of Who's Together podcast. I am your co-host, Lauren Moses, here with
Quin blending.
You already know, and we're so excited to have you guys joining in for our 7th episode. If you missed last episode, which it seems like some of you guys did just looking at the numbers, go back and watch last episode, especially with the basketball season starting. I got to speak with the newest head coach for the women's basketball team, Coach Mox, about her journey, her transition to Charlottesville. She's a Virginia native, so that was, half the reason why she wanted to come back home. Her plans for the program, of course, and so much more. So make sure you guys tune in to that episode. As you know, we talk about all things UVA athletics, and starting right off the bat, we had a football game this past weekend. It seemed hopeful very early on.
Quin, hopeful, very hopeful.
We were in Charlottesville at Scott Stadium. How was the experience of being back and being able to watch the team?
I was, it was great. Got to walk through the.
So when did you get there? Who did you get to meet? Who did you get to talk to from the program?
So I got there. I got there around a reasonable 10 a.m. The game's not till 12.
Yeah.
But I got there a little early. Saw a lot of alumni. Ball Hawk, seen him a lot. Tony Cub, T Cub. I've seen my mentor, Bill Curry. Seen Jerry Capone. And it was a fun experience just to be around them again and just to see them, and got to meet some of the recruits that were there for a recruiting trip. Also met Wally Rayner again. He's an alumni from us as well. He's one of my OGs, and his energy is unmatched. So it was great to just be around those guys again and just see those kids out there just being recruited by UVA and seeing those being committed to us as well. Even though it's been tough, but seeing some kids still committed was still a good atmosphere. It looked at first, like you said, I was there. I had the opportunity to meet his name he played in Grey's Anatomy. Jason Winston.
Okay.
Yep, Jason Winston. He went to UVA, of course, some years ago, but also to come to find out he's from the 7-5 as well. He went to Kensville High School. That's literally around the corner from where I went to school, basically. So it was cool just seeing that and just having, someone of his caliber there as well. So it was cool. And so it was good to be back.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with the first to market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game bets, props, and futures. Head over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
One new thing that they added, they had live jets fly across,
I saw over the that. Stadium. Is that a weekly thing, or was it just that game?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I said, I was kind of shocked because, of course, national anthem, okay, cool. Then, all you just out of nowhere, you just start hearing some loud rumbling, and then you just look up and they just flying over. You're like, oh,
that's probably to try to bring out some fans too, or get fans excited.
That's what I said. I looked at Jim Booz. I said, oh, y'all got something up y'all sleeves now, huh?
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Like, it was good. Like, at first, it was kind of a little skimped in there with fans. It was okay. I understand why, but it was kind of skimped. But, as the game went on, it started to, it wasn't a packed house, but it started to fill up, which was a lot better than what I seen. And then, going back to our first, drive and quarter, I thought we were going to win.
Off the first drive.
I thought we were going to win. Yeah. I thought we had everything in play. I thought everything was up to par. I just knew UVA flipped the script.
Yeah.
And then, we go into halftime. We're up. Mm-hmm. Halftime, we're up, and I'm excited. I'm like, okay, we're up. Cool.
But even heading into the game, it was kind of like I don't know if it was a doubtful mindset going into it. Not obviously not from like UVA's perspective, but if you look at these two teams on paper, UVA and UNC, and UVA was without quite a few people. They were out without Dontavian Wicks, Lavelle Davis Jr. Like those are people who've been playmakers when they needed to be, at least at some points throughout the season. So going into the UNC game, I felt like it was kind of doubtful without them, but you said off the first drive, got you hyped.
And the thing is, I didn't know they were out like KT and what's his name, Paris Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were out until I got to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen it. I'm like,
okay.
But in my mind, I'm like, okay, I know we still have Billy Kemp. I know we have Malachi Fields. And then I'm sorry, I don't know the rest of those guys' names. I just know those guys because they played under me, so I know them more than so.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen them, I'm like, okay, at least I know we still have a chance.
Yeah.
And and at first it looked like we had a strong chance.
I was gonna say on Twitter, so I was following along on Twitter. I wasn't watching the game. I watched the second half, I believe. And so yeah, I know, a little bit too late. But I was on Twitter watching the commentary, and people were saying that this was probably the best half of football that they had seen from this season, from this program so far. Their running backs were looking good. There was a few occasional just mishaps on offense from Brennan Armstrong, but for the most part, he was running pretty well and seemed to have some type of oomph in his game. Yeah. And then halftime comes, UNC goes into they go into the half by scoring, I believe, right? I think it was 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 10-7. And then they come out of halftime and their quarterback, Drake May, is just like, yeah, no, it's time to turn it up. Yeah, and UVA defense didn't have an answer.
Yeah, it just came to the point we just started playing how UVA plays. And so I sat on the UNC side just because like I was with my brother, and like so I know kids on the UNC team just because they're from my area. I trained them, et cetera, et cetera. It's not, oh, I was going for UNC. No, I happen to train players. I know his family very well. I sat over there with his family. And so I'm just over there, laughing, joking, talking junk just because that's what I do best. But it was all in like good spirits. But it was like sad to hear like when they were doing like a UNC chant, it sounded really loud in there. Like even though it was more UVA fans,
yeah,
it sounded like there was more UNC fans than our fans, which, I understand, I get it. But it's just like, it
does something to your pride.
Yeah. We just gotta play. That's all.
Yeah.
I can't.
And I mean, it might be a little too late this year, right? But there's still three more games left.
That's it.
They could go 3-0 and still potentially
have a bowl game.
Make a bowl game. However, that's a little unlikely. They do have Pittsburgh next week that's 4-4 right now. They got blown out by UNC when they played. When I say they, I mean Pittsburgh. So it's likely that they can get a win off of Pitt, and maybe that can catapult some momentum here, but they still have, Coastal Carolina and Virginia Tech that they would have to get by. So there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of buts. There's a lot of, strings to grasp for. But at the end of the day, I think it's fair to say that this UVA team in the first year under their new head coach just hasn't been able to find their groove, haven't been able to find an identity or be consistent with what, coach has been wanting them to do. Or even what they have wanted to do, because like we've heard from the players after these games, it's not like they're excited about what they have been showing.
It's a different vibe when you just lose, and it's just like you feel like you're just fighting for nothing sometimes, and it's just like I remember my third year when we lost. We went 2-10, and just seeing the faces of like Dante, Smoke, like Keon, like
upperclassmen.
Yeah, like seeing all those guys that were leaving, I was like, yeah, I don't ever want that taste in my mouth ever again. Like that might have been the worst feeling ever. So,
Yeah.
and I can kind of feel that's going on because it's like they were so used to winning, putting up crazy points, doing this and that,
Yeah.
and now it's just like nothing. It's a shock to most. If you don't know how to handle it, it's a shock to most. But like you said, we got 3 games left. Come on, guys. Let's just
And during that point where I'm assuming like it's like you're kind of in a funk in your head, right? But there were some good things, and I feel like we've said this a little bit, maybe in 2 games where there have been good things to hold on to, good signs of improvement throughout the season. And I feel like the fact that they could have upset a ranked opponent in UNC, like by the way that they played in the first half, shows you that they have the skill, they have certain weapons. It's just about doing it all at the same time. We've talked about that in previous episodes too. Defense is clicking one game, offense isn't, and vice versa. Special teams making mistakes, offense making mistakes, defense has an amazing game. It's like they can't find a way to win at the end of the day, and that's gonna be a part of their growing pains, honestly.
that's what it's gonna be. And like you said, it's year one.
Yeah.
It's all fresh start, new things. So we just gotta be ready to attack the day. You
Yeah.
know, Monday starts tomorrow. It's a new week.
By the
One
time,
to
yeah,
go.
by the time this episode comes out, they'll be, well into practice, well into a new week, new opponent, new challenges that they're gonna have to face and overcome at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, but aside from football, we have some teams that are, in the ACC championships,
Yeah.
opportunity to possibly play in the NCAA tournaments, that we want to highlight as well. Like we always talk about, men's soccer is number 4 right now in the country. They played in their quarterfinals on Sunday, which is the day that we are recording. Their goalie Brown had I think I said I wrote down 6, but after I've written this down, he had 7 saves.
Oh yeah, 7.
By the end of the game, they end up
Oh
winning
yeah.
1-0 versus Pitt. So
Yeah, yeah. He had 2 like back to back in
yeah, he was
the
all over
late.
he was all over the state.
Yeah, he had like 2 back to back in the late like seconds coming down to it. I seen, and it was very impressive. Like
Yes.
he
Clutch.
has a tough job back there, and he's handling his own. And we give your flowers.
Yep, junior 6'4" goalie. And then they won this game, so that was a quarterfinal. They will go on to play the semifinals on Wednesday, and they'll play either the winner of Syracuse or UNC. Syracuse is number 2, so they'll have to travel to Syracuse if Syracuse wins, and they'll host if UNC wins. They're number 7.
Yeah, can't
moving,
wait.
moving on.
I hope we get Syracuse.
Oh, Syracuse is. I mean, they've already beat Syracuse, so
That's
like
what I'm saying.
we'll be
That's,
excited about that one.
that's what I'm saying. I hope we get them because if we got to go there, I might go to the game because I
Yeah.
think it's only like 2 hours from me.
Yeah. And then obviously they'll have the championship if they win, and so on and so on. Field hockey, women, they did not get to become the ACC champions. They lost 3-2 on Friday, but they still have the NCAA selection show, which is Sunday as well. By the time this comes out, hopefully they'll know where they place in the selection show or in the NCAA tournament, I guess I should say, and who they'll be facing. So that's exciting. You always love when you can extend your postseason, especially like you were talking about with football. It's kind of hard to do that if you don't have a certain amount of wins for your seniors. But in this instance, lost the ACC championship, still have an opportunity to play for a national title.
Yeah, no, it was a tough game. I watched a little bit of it actually. I mean, they went against UNC. That are very tough, very tough opponent. But they always give UNC a run for their money. So I always congratulate those girls for giving their all. And now it's time to go play for the big thing. And let's go win it all. Let's go win it all.
Exactly. And last but certainly not least, men and women's basketball. I've talked about it a little bit earlier. Their season starts on Monday, November 7th. They're both home games, doubleheader for you. This podcast will be out by the time their first game starts. But their second games you can still make. So November 7th, game 1, November 11th or 10th, the women play UMBC. The 11th, the men play Monmouth. So go sell out,
I'm
Jim. Go sell out,
excited to watch.
KJ.
I'm excited to watch.
Both of these teams have so many storylines, so many players that you can, hold on to. If you've been following women's basketball and you're from Charlottesville, you know that Sam Brunel has transferred to UVA, a hometown hero of sorts, as well.
Right.
People call her. I'm sure you remember us hosting her as a recruit.
That's the thing. I remember that. I remember her coming on a visit when we were at school.
Oh, she was not even that. She would just pop up on campus sometimes too, because she was literally right there. She went to high school at William Monroe. So it's like 30 minutes away from JPJ. And, when she was in 7th grade, 8th grade, even when I was being recruited, she was also on campus being recruited as like a 7th grader.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. But it's good to see that she's back home, and I'm excited to see, what they do. I watched, seeing a little bit of the scrimmages. They look really good.
Yeah, and the thing around the theme around them has been their energy. Is like new energy. Obviously, with the new head coach, you're trying to build a new culture. It's just like there's no reason for you not to give it your all right now, because at this point you're still in the growing phase. And it seems like that's what they've been doing.
They're having fun.
Yeah.
It looks like they're having fun. It doesn't matter who they play, but it looks like they're having fun and actually growing, and it looks fun to be a part of.
Improving, yeah.
It is, and then the OG Tony Bennett on the other side. I'm ready to see what he has up his sleeves, and I'm ready. I actually went to the Wizards and Nets game.
Okay, so you got to see some
I seen AG and Bill Harris on the court at the same time. I'm like, wow, this brought back so many memories. I'm like, this is basketball.
And I think Boston, they had a game against Boston too that obviously had
they had
president and they had House.
He's up there too. Yep.
That's pretty dope to be able to play against guys you played with at college, or even if you didn't get to play with them, you are coming from the same program and you're now at the highest level ever. So that's really dope. Congratulations to them, and hopefully we can get a Wahoo NBA title. I don't know about the Wizards, but somebody.
Didn't Mama D get one?
Who? Mama D did get one. He did.
Yeah, Mama D get one. Mama D did get one.
Yeah, we have one. I'm talking about this season though. Outside of that, Quinn, I think that's a wrap for episode 7.
I think so too, and I think we appreciate you guys.
We do.
We're going to keep bringing new topics to you guys. We're going to keep bringing fresh energy. With more things going on around grounds, it's going to be a real hectic for us. And,
we're going to get crazy because basketball is going to be going on at the same time. Football, we're going to have field hockey in the NCAA. We're going to have soccer in the NCAA. It's going to be a lot going on. And the biggest thing is trying to get those athletes on the podcast in season is going to be a little tough, but that is the goal. That's the plan. I would love to have from field hockey or men or women's soccer on, in the next episode or two. So stay tuned for that. We appreciate y'all for tuning in this week and all the other weeks. Like I said, if you missed last episode with Coach Mox, tune in just to see what she has, ready for this program. And without a further ado, that is all for Who's Together podcast, presented by Bet Online on Believe Network. Deuces.
Walking with a clear route. How we gon' rise today? I'm making mine today. Go make yours. Double back and flip the proceeds.